Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture, we will talk about informal communication. In previous lecture, we have already talked about characteristics of informal communication while distinguishing it from formal communication. By now, we know that what is formal communication and how much important it is. Similarly, informal communication has its own advantages and some other disadvantages, but it is significantly different from from formal communication. Let's discuss what is informal communication and what are some advantages of informal communication. Informal communication is the communication which does not follow any predefined channel for the transmission of information. This kind of communication is very common and it is not predefined. It is not set already that this is going to be the medium of the communication, this is going to be the timing of the communication, this is how the communication will take place. This type of communication goes on and builds upon it. So this way of communication is less formal, and this type of communication moves freely in all directions. Since it is not predefined, so there is no strict or rigid path that one has to follow while communicating informally. So there are benefits of it, that it is quick and rapid. In any organization, this type of communication is very natural as people interact with each other about their professional life, personal life, and other matters. Now let's see in a context of a workplace or any organization. There is the one method of communication that is formal in meetings and emails or a proper defined channel. But there is also room for informal communication where people can talk about anything which is not specific. So they can talk about their professional life, their experiences, their personal life, and other matter. Okay, and they can easily share their feelings and casually discuss anything. Okay, so this is how actually gossips also emerge in any organization. Informal communication is considered effective as employees or members can discuss work-related issues, which saves the organization time and money. It also helps to build more productive and healthy relationships. Now, informal communication, as compared to formal communication, is sometimes more effective because this way people are free to discuss anything on their own and they can lobby better. Okay, and they at the end they can develop productive and healthy relationships. Okay, so sometimes formally some targets you cannot achieve, rather informally you can achieve them effectively. Okay, so there are various forms of informal communication. Here are few of the forms. Texting. Okay, when you are just texting might be formal in a way that you're designing a full text to write in a formal tone and then it would vary, but usually when we chat, okay, so that is an informal form of communication because that is an informal form of talking. Off record discussion, a discussion that is not preset or on record, so that can go informal. Any chit chat, okay, by side you get a tea break or lunch break, and then in that time you chit chat about your feelings about other things, that would go in informal communication. All right, unplanned meetings, something that is not planned and we suddenly meet and we start sharing our feelings and other things, that would go under informal communication. While talking to friends and family, we usually try to stick to this mode of communication, informal. There are certain advantages of informal communication. We already talked about how fast and effective it can be because since it is not rule bound, there is no predefined medium. So generally, this one is fast, okay, as compared to formal communication. Then we have lobbying. This is very important function of informal communication. As I discussed earlier, that informal communication you might not gauge the interest of other person, while in informal communication you get to know each other better and then you can effectively lobby their interest and then achieve your interest as well. Similarly, it helps us in building social relationships. If we start sharing feelings and how we actually think about a situation and we effectively lobby something, so this off record discussion turns into building up of social relationships, which is very important in every context, because we as social human beings need some social relationships to rely on. Informal communication also offer a free and flexible environment because this is not managed. Okay, no one is superior, or no one is managing us, and it is not on record. That's why the communicators feel more flexible and free. Okay. With advantages of informal communication, some disadvantages also occur. Okay, for example, some gossips may easily arise from informal communication since it's not reliable and on record. Okay, it might also be distracting, and some people might not be as loyal to you as you think, and there could be other consequences of such case. Okay, so informal communication is not always reliable, but it is again very effective and is very much needed, so we cannot just skip this type of communication. That's it for this. If you have any questions, you can comment below, or we can discuss in live session. Thank you so much. Take care.